welcome to the Bandwagon Podcast. And today is a jump off edition. But before we start into that, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who's been sending messages asking where I've been. I haven't been well over the last sort of 6 to 8 weeks, and I've managed to kind of get things back on track. I have recorded some live production podcasts as well, which will be out shortly. But also, just to kind of reiterate, if any of you guys have shared any of my content on social media, I'd really appreciate a follow, a like, a subscription on those platforms. The more you help support the podcast, the bigger guests that I'm able to kind of get on for you, and I think that's what it's all about as well. So yeah, I thought I'd come back with a jump off edition. It's been a couple of months. I've asked some questions on Instagram and some topics to raise and some of my opinions, and yeah, it's going to be a bit of a feisty one. So without further ado, number one. On Saturdays, as a kid, I used to watch Gladiators. I used to watch Noel's House Party. I used to watch Match of the Day, and occasionally you used to mix it up with once a year things that used to happen. So your snooker, uh, the bigger tournaments like Wimbledon and things like this. Yeah, so you would always have a bit of a gap in your market when you were going to watch something. And one of those things when I was a lot younger used to be the Eurovision Song Contest. Um, I was sitting with the kids and said, "Oh, look, the Eurovision Song Contest is on." I was watching, technically, if I was being truthful, I was watching Casino Royale on ITV, a James Bond film, and it went to break. So as you do, you kind of channel surf. Um, and while I was about to switch over, I was telling the kids, "Oh, like, look, oh, the Eurovision Song Contest, this used to be on blah, 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 blah." Can someone tell me at what point did the Eurovision Song Contest turn into a full adult film porno? The amount of, or lack of, clothes that people were wearing for 10 past 8 in the evening, I think it's a sign that I'm getting old, or I've just missed the boat on this. It was ridiculous. It weren't about the song. It was how crazy the person singing the song looked. Within about 10 minutes, I see someone dressed up as a devil. I saw, I can't even tell you the rest of it. I had to turn it over. It was disgusting. And then, there's all this politics flying around it. I couldn't give a shit about that. No one's talking about, yo, this needs to be after the watershed. Look, if you're into all of that kind of stuff, yeah, good on you, right? That's fine. But come on, there's got to be a line where I don't know. I don't even want to finish what I'm gonna say. You go back and watch some of the acts that were on there. It was crazy, crazy. 20 years ago, I don't even want to say it. It's brutal, man. It's absolutely brutal. And the music was terrible. There wasn't any one song in there which was like going, yeah, 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 yeah. And before you say it, I only watched another 10 minutes after that. So there you go. The other things that I was seeing, uh, okay, issue number 2 goes on to, like, again, the wedding season on social media. Thank you for all the comments that one of the reels got a lot of positive feedback about, people dancing like it's their dad's wedding. That was pretty funny in terms of the remarks that I got back. But I've been speaking to quite a lot of people in the wedding scene, especially some of the suppliers, and they're all coming back with well, I won't say all, but the majority have been saying, "Oh, 24-25 season is really slow. Bookings are not the same. It's quiet for everyone, you know." And I was thinking, I was sitting back, I said, yeah, maybe because for the last 3-4 years, especially during COVID and after, you've absolutely thraped the market. You've caned everyone for their money. You've got photographers who are being assigned to do a job there, doing you see more photos of themselves doing catwalks and doing all these little, reels and making it all funny, which it ain't. And the customer's sitting there going, "Have I paid you to take photos of yourself or take photos of me?" And then at the same time, the prices that people are charging, no wonder people are starting to have second thoughts. I won't get married here. I could go abroad and get married. I won't have to pay a DJ. I'll get the hotel guy, give him a playlist, and they'll play the music there. If I won't get a photographer, I could just go into CapCut and just do it myself after, I think people need to start thinking the wedding suppliers are not celebs. The person who should be a celeb on their wedding day is the bride and groom. Full stop. And I think people need to have a bit of a sense check when they're looking at their diary and thinking, "Oh, look, no one's booked me." Really? I think you understand why. Yeah. And then, sorry, related to it, this whole commentary over social media, which is, oh, here's a day in the life with me. I get up, I brush my teeth, I take a shit, I go downstairs, I have some food, I go to work, I come back. Brilliant. No one cares. The fact that you've waited and you've picked a day where you've got all the busy stuff happening on one day, that's not the clue in it. That's why you've picked that day because you got stuff to show off about. Let me see you on a Sunday evening at 8 o'clock, sitting there thinking about, oh, do I watch songs of praise or do I want to write down? Do I want to film myself uh, going and putting on makeup and getting ready? Yeah, get ready with me. How about you get yourself ready and let the family get themselves ready so you don't make everyone late to go to where you gotta go to? How about we start there? And everyone's just jumped on the cloud. I think the first person who did it was Diljit, and that was funny when Diljit did it. That was really funny. And I get it because that's his thing. When you're trying to copy and do it that style, it's a bag of just don't. And while we're on Diljit, I've lost the flow of this one, this episode, at this moment. I'm just gonna just go on a rant. Um, Smashed it in Canada. Congratulations to Diljit and his whole team. And for what he's achieved, it's laying down the foundations for the future and the next gen. So there was a period everyone's giving him his flowers and all that, and then I see Naseeb come on social media and calling him out and going you know, a bit of a 50 Cent on him. And I was on Instagram, and then got invited to go and speak on some of the guys' podcast called the Gupcast. I just jumped on there, and they were kind of having the argument that Diljit's a Punjabi icon. Why is he doing this? Is it what Naseeb saying is true? And I just, what it came down to, and there would have been a time where I would have been a hater. Let's make that very clear. But I think as you get older, you kind of mature a little bit and you just think, I just want a bit of a peaceful life. Diljit never grew up thinking, I want to be an icon for somebody. I want to be a role model. And if he did, fair play to him. But it's a bit weird if he was doing that. So if you're making these singers, these actors, or anybody else as your role models, I think that's the issue. He's taken the Punjabi culture, his faith to a point, and he's been an ambassador to it. Not out of choice, I believe. I think it's just happened out of default. He's admitted himself that he's not perfect, and he's made a lot of mistakes, like we all have. Let him do what he's gonna do. If you think there's elements of what he's doing is correct, follow them. You know the bits that you think that he's doing wrong. Guess what? You don't have to follow him. You can live your own life. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to live your own life. You don't need to have these role models if you don't want to. So if he's got his questions and the way that he wants to do his things, let him carry on. What you should be celebrating, there is a time where you can separate the art from the artist. And that's why you still listen to Michael Jackson and you know it's the truth. And you know the majority of people who you listen to in your car or on your Spotify playlist or wherever have also done a lot of dodgy things like everybody else. So let's I'm not saying that I'm here, being preachy, but there's a lot of other bigger things that we need to concentrate on rather than these um these small in my opinion. Um okay. So I've just kind of gone off on one and I'm just gonna kind of pick up where some of the questions that came in. So ooh, these are really, really spicy. OJ Simpson. Um, wow. What a subject to go on. Um, OJ Simpson. I was a few weeks back. Um, I think he did it. I mean, if you look at some of the documentaries and that have come out and the evidence in there, it's quite it's quite horrific. But I also think at the same time, two people died, and is there a lack of respect being shown to those to those families as well, where it keeps getting dredged up again? And me doing this is not necessarily going to help that as well. Um, but there's loads of other conspiracy theories that have come out around, the medication with the gloves. Did was he covering up for his son? Look into that one. That's a bit of a wild conspiracy theory as well, that he's protecting his son. Um, yeah, so these are all alleged allegations. But if you're free and you want to go down a YouTube rabbit hole, that would be a really, really good one to do that. Jumpy Law review. I already done a Jumpy Law review, and thanks for the feedback that was given. Really, really good. And a few weeks later on, I still haven't changed my mind on a lot of the points that I've made around there. Next question. Details of the bandwagon tour. Okay, so this has been one of the things that I've been working around in the background. We're almost over the line. There's a few things that I've just got to put together, and hopefully it's a concept, or it's a thing that I'd like to get you guys involved in as well. So watch out for that over the next sort of few weeks or a month, to give you those details. Once I get this bit sorted, then next year and everything else will fall into place. So appreciate the waiting, and thanks for the question. Let's have a look again. Is there anything else that have come out of it? World War Three. You know what's mad? The other day I was actually driving back on the motorway, and I was listening to the radio, and all of a sudden, randomly when your body just goes into autopilot as you're driving, and you just start thinking of random stuff. And there's a lady, I forgot her name. She's on the Lex Friedman podcast, which just come out, and she said that when a country drops a nuclear bomb, um, and let's say it's on the US, there's approximately 6 minutes left of retaliation, of what 6 minutes golden frame time of where an action needs to be taken. And I listened to that podcast, and I've absolutely bricked it since then. That we could be just going to our normal day, picking up atta from Smethwick, um, driving down Soho Road, picking up the kids, going for a mixie, doing whatever, and you wouldn't even know that it's the end. So I was just driving on the motorway, and I was like, if something goes off there, we're not in control. There's so many different proxy wars that are happening with Israel, Palestine. You've got the uh, Iranians, we've got Syria. Like, while we're living in our house, and our hardest decision is what we're going to eat in the evening, you've got families, children hiding and scared and traumatized all around the world. And we're just one decision away from, actual nuclear warfare, what's happening. And I don't feel like we've ever been to this brink of where it are. So it's quite morbid that, this kind of thinking that's going on. But it doesn't help when you listen to, scary podcasts late at night. Makes you really reflect on a lot of stuff. Um, P. Diddy, oh dear. Oh dear indeed. There's gonna be a generation of people who used to dance in Brannigan's and in Creation in Leicester or Faces in Nottingham, Zanzibar in town in Birmingham or wherever, who used to sing and dance along to a lot of Diddy songs. I didn't. I wasn't smart enough to know the lyrics. I used to be that guy, when the song where everyone knew it's a bad boy song. I used to dance and cover my face like this because I didn't know the words. So I can't say I'm a Diddy fan, but there's a lot of you that were, and look at these actions that have come out. And if you're in any doubt, there's only one person to follow in this situation, and that's 50 Cent. That guy is cooking P. Diddy, cooking. And yeah, I think there's a lot more of these guys coming out. There's gonna be a lot more. Um, but funnily enough, at the same time, not that many people are coming to his support. And so those people who should be coming to his support have automatically started getting a magnifying glass on them guys. But it's a tough time out there in the entertainment world if you're that way inclined, or if you're up into some of the freaky parties. Uh, there's a lot of freaky parties that happen even in the Bhangra industry that are kind of hidden away, and there might be some of these kind of characters around. I haven't heard anything at the moment, but dodgy times, dodgy times. Um, UFC. Yeah, so UFC is coming back to England in Manchester. I believe it's the 27th of July. Huge lineup there. Problem is these geezers have put the main fights on at about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. So the only people who win in this situation is going to be the Manchester cocaine dealers of keeping everybody awake to watch it. So congratulations to those guys. They'll be making some serious money, and hopefully one day the UFC can put some fighting on at a decent time here for the UK fans. So there you go. Do you think artists change when they join big labels? Ooh. Um, yeah, I think me personally on this one is that big labels would have been looking at their numbers of before they signed them. So all these bot farms and all these other things that they were taking into consideration, that's what they would do when they were signing these acts up. But if those acts fail to hit those numbers, which to be honest, they should be hitting because the labels themselves are into buying a lot of these views as well. It's a win-win scenario. But what happens then is the money gets found out with bookings. So how are you going to repay that deal that you've been signed up? So traditionally, back in the day, if you got £1 million recording deal, that £1 million wasn't like for you to just go and spend. That would be how much money a record label is going to invest in you, making an album, doing your marketing, your creative around their paying producers. And so, that might your tour, that might cost you 700 grand and you got 300 grand to yourself. So a million, it's not necessarily relative that way. Now, I think some of those things have changed. Like a lot of these new organizations, these new, like Warner Music, for example, I'm not 100% sure of how many new artists are being signed up on long-term deals. I believe it's smaller EPs or one song, two song deals, which is good because I think these are the foundations and the stepping stones to build up our our scene to get more and more mainstream. But those artists you're gonna know as Icky are killing it. Daljeets, these collaborations are you're now seeing the value of the brown pound. I just hope the artists themselves stay to the original format as long as possible, giving the likes of the new gen in media their first interviews. I've said it before about this no media policy. I find it so frustrating and ridiculous. It's painful. It really is painful. Okay, so let me go on to anything else. Duh, duh, duh. Man United. Okay, look, this is a standing thing. Let's just wait until next season. Um, there's a lot of things going to be happening. I'm not a fan of it, and I'll do an end of season review later on. So I'm not going to go down any further than that. I don't really want to waste my time. I don't want to spend my time on a team that ruins my weekend. I really don't. Which is really, really frustrating. I've just seen Tyson Fury's dad has been involved in a headbutt incident. I will give it probably 48 hours until that geezer's got his top off and running around the changing rooms and threatening to fight everyone. I think he's a brilliant character. He does he takes the attention away from his son quite a lot, which reminds me of a lot of other people out there. Right, anything else? No. Okay. I'm just gonna call it this one. I've ranted quite a lot in this episode. It was just a kind of a touch base episode, give you guys a bit of an update. So I got some live production podcasts that are coming out. Tour's gonna be unveiled hopefully soon. A lot of partnerships, some sponsors that are coming on board as well. So that's gonna be exciting. And a few other kind of side projects around it. So the Bandwagon as a brand is not just only about the podcast. You've seen it when I've done kind of different initiatives and bringing people together, whether it was Mixie and Chill, whether it was the Bundy Shore workshop. I've got a few more of those things kind of lined up as well. Please just help support the channel. I really appreciate it. And thank you for all your kind words. And I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace. Those